Your team has created a great strategy, but the real challenge is putting it into practice. So what kind of architecture do we need for successful strategy execution? Hi, I'm Alexis from BC Designer. We work with organizations every day to improve their strategies and strategy execution processes. In this video, I'll guide you through the strategy architecture that really works. Most strategies start on Excel spreadsheets, but strategy is complex, and those spreadsheets quickly become hard to maintain. They lose accountability, they lose consistency, and there is no reliable way to track evidence. Things get out of control, and that's when it becomes clear you don't need another spreadsheet, you need a strategy architecture that helps your team execute the current strategy and adapt to new challenges in the future. With the BC Designer platform, we provide this kind of resilient strategy architecture built on two pillars. One, strategy cascading. Two, consistent performance measurement. In this video, we'll show you the overall logic of our strategic planning platform and how a typical implementation looks in practice. Let's start with pillar one, strategy cascading. When dealing with a complex strategy, we cannot start executing it right away. We first need to break it down or cascade it into smaller, manageable parts, the scorecards. There will be scorecards that mirror the organizational hierarchy. Each of those scorecards typically focuses on a specific challenge and is managed by a dedicated team. In this case, we start with a corporate-level scorecard that captures the high-level strategic ambitions. From there, we move down to business unit level and finally to operational-level scorecards. We can create this structure manually by adding scorecards one by one, or larger structures with hundreds of scorecards. We can ask AI to create the structure for us. A common challenge in cascading is keeping many similar scorecards consistent. For example, a different sales office might need scorecards with the same goals and KPIs. To handle this, we create one master scorecard and then generate copies using the sync function. When the master scorecard changes, all copies update automatically. In a typical strategy, there are functions that apply across the entire organization, such as stakeholder analysis, risk assessment, or the analysis of external factors. Those scorecards are not part of the main strategy hierarchy, but they can be linked to the core strategy scorecards. This is what we call cross-functional alignment. How do we connect scorecards? The scorecards in the hierarchy are connected automatically through perspectives, where low-level scorecards contribute to high-level scorecards. If needed, we can adjust these connections. We can also connect scorecards manually by data or by context. A contextual connection indicates that one item is related to another. For example, it can be used to show that the rationale behind a certain goal is connected to the strategic ambition of specific stakeholders, or to the impact of the driving forces identified during the analysis of external factors. When connecting by data, we link the output performance of one goal to the input of another. To create a connection, we open the source scorecard, for example, one of the strategy scorecards, copy an item, and then open the destination scorecard, for example, a risk assessment scorecard, and paste the item there. The platform will ask which type of connection we want to apply. Finally, with many scorecards and different types of connection, we need a way to see the big picture. For this purpose, there is a map called Cascading, which shows the cascading structure as well as the connections between the scorecards. Now, let's talk about Pillar 2, consistent performance measurement. This is exactly what we do inside any scorecard. We break down the strategic intent and make it measurable. In our platform, the default template is the Balancer scorecard, but other frameworks, such as OKRs, are also supported. Here is how it looks in BC Designer. We start with default perspectives that can be customized. Within each perspective, we add goals, metrics, and initiatives. We can also use AI if we need to do this at scale. To ensure consistency, each metric needs to be tracked in a clear, structured way. We define its name and description. We specify whether evidence must be provided for each update. We decide who owns the metric. In the values editor, we define when data need to be updated and how it is aggregated when grouped by time periods. On the performance tab, we define how the metric behaves, whether its performance improves and the value increases, decreases, or follows another pattern. We also define its weight or relevant importance, so we know how this metric contributes to overall performance. On the Data tab, we load data into KPIs in various ways. Manually, with the formulas from Excel or from a database. You can also use the RESTful API to connect directly to your business systems. And it's not only about data. We also need to establish a learning loop. For each KPI update, comments can be added to capture insights, decisions, or follow-up actions. Our strategy architecture is ready, and we can now move into execution. We use scorecards to track KPIs. We use one-page strategy maps to discuss and communicate the plan. We use dashboards to visualize indicator performance and support decision-making. We use reports to keep stakeholders informed. What results have we achieved? Our approach is now scalable, consistent, and clearly defines accountability. The strategy architecture improves alignment by linking all parts of the strategy. The measurement framework ensures clarity through quantified goals. When we present our platform, a typical comment we hear is that it looks complex. But the next day, we often see impressive results created by the very same users. The problem we solve is indeed complex, but we've made the platform intuitive and easy to learn. We offer many video tutorials that explain the software and an AI assistant that can answer even complex product questions. All of this is available even on the free plan. For paid plans, we also include customer support and train-the-trainer sessions to resolve any doubts and speed up implementation. We can also arrange on-site workshops to close capability gaps and help organizations establish solid strategy architecture with supporting processes. Last but not least, BC Designer is used by a wide variety of organizations. We recommend checking out the case studies on our website to explore the nuances of implementation depending on the use case and sector. Feel free to contact our team with any questions, and thank you for watching this video.